All right, we are live. Good afternoon, good night, wherever you're looking from. Good night, good night, good night. And welcome to our panel discussion. It's like a powwow for girls, right? And I also have invited some men. So we are going to have a good night tonight, right? We're celebrating the beauty of age, the beauty of experience, unapologetic joy. That's what I call it, right? And my goal is to inspire, to engage, to explore some of our joy, some of our challenges. Ooh, okay. Some of our challenges, our opportunities, and all that comes with living authentically. And as we get a little bit older, right? Because I remember my 20s, I remember my 30s. Lisa, you remember we were 20 just two years ago?
I was about to tell you, if we're going to go there, you'll have to say last week.
Last week. Okay, I'll take that. I will take that. Because I just had a birthday. And, in retrospect, I kind of sat still and I thought about, I remember when I was 20. I remember when I was 30. I remember when I was 40 and then 50. So it took me there,
Okay.
I'm proud to be 50 plus, actually.
Good.
And I love it. I love the skin I'm in. Love it. Love it. So for those who don't know me, I am Dr. Rachael Riley. I'm a mental health professional. I'm an author, 3-time best-selling author. I am a life coach, entrepreneur, military veteran. So I wear several hats. I hold a doctorate in humanitarian studies, and I've kind of dedicated my life to advocacy, rehabilitation, and empowering women worldwide. And with me, I have Lisa Alexander, and I'm going to Lisa Marie Alexander. We were actually neighbors. Maria. We were actually neighbors. How many years ago? Or was that last week too?
No, that one was when that would be a stretch, but that would have been when we were literally almost babies, right?
We were. So I am so thrilled to have Lisa here with me. And I'm actually going to read her credentials. So let's go. Okay.
Summarize, please.
Summarize? Okay. So she is the CEO, Chief Strategist of Leadership Experience, which was founded in 2022. Over 20 years of executive leadership experience in financial services sector. Certified change practitioner 2024. Gender consultant for the Inter-American Development Bank in the Caribbean. She has expertise in strategy development, customer experience, marketing, leadership development. She is the founder 2019 of JMMB WIN, Women's Inspiration Network, former president of the Association of Female Executives of Trinidad and Tobago. She has extensive experience in brand building, public relations, and marketing across the Caribbean. Director of Gates Praise Worship International, a faith-based musical enterprise. And she is passionate about learning and development and coaching individuals for personal and organizational success. Wow. Woo! What a phenomenal, listen, I thank you for being here. It's a lot, but these are your accomplishments. And you are well established. Okay.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you being here. We also have, I'm going to let in my other 2 panelists.
Wonderful.
We have Miss Andrea Hall. And I'm also going to add Evangelist Dr. Sandra Jackson.
Hey,
I'm
Howdy.
so happy to have all of us here.
ladies.
Hello.
Good afternoon, ladies. So I just gave a summary of Lisa's credentials, and I'm going to welcome Evangelist Dr. Sandra Jackson, and I'm going to read her credentials, and then I'll go on to Andrea, and then we'll dive into what we're here for, right?
Yes.
So, Dr. Sandra Jackson is the 12th child of Bishop Samuel Rumpf and Lady Priscilla Rumpf, Amazon best-selling author and ordained evangelist. She has overcome cancer, and she has gotten a bachelor's in theology, biblical studies in 2021. She hosts Sandra's Authors Forum talk show on Awesome God Radio on Thursdays at 8, so check that out. She has also interviewed Dr. Les Brown, who said she motivated the motivator. Am I right, Sandra? You're mute, I think.
You're correct. Yes, yes, yes.
She is an advocate for single mothers and divorcees, hosting There's Life After Divorce seminars. Her first conference is in July of 2025. It's called There's Life After Divorce. Congratulations. She's the recipient of multiple honors, including an honorary doctorate in humanitarian studies. She's a proud mother of 9. And she's always known for her motivating quotes. I am ecstatic to be alive. So if you ever listen to her, that's how she starts everything. I am ecstatic to be alive.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here.
You are welcome. I am ecstatic to be alive, and I pray to God you are as well.
Wonderful.
And Andrea, listen. Andrea was born in Kingston, Jamaica.
Hey, Yardy.
What's a guan?
She grew
I
up
know
in
it's not wine,
Brooklyn.
it's water.
It's not wine, it's water. Okay,
Water.
all right. She grew up in Brooklyn, and she now resides in South Florida. She has over 25 years of experience in the travel industry, including the roles at American Express, Centurion, and entrepreneurial ventures in fashion and culture. She has her own business, okay? Her own boutique, so check her out. She is the founder of Shaq's Hope Foundation, because Shakira Martin, Miss Jamaica Universe 2011, her daughter, who struggled with sickle cell, she has founded Shaq's Hope Foundation in honor of Shakira to educate and advocate for those living with sickle cell disease. So Shakira Martin actually won Miss Universe in 2011. The foundation operates in South Florida and Jamaica and globally, focusing on awareness, education, and quality of life improvements. Andrea serves as the executive director, supported by her family and close friends on the board. She advocates for shifting the narrative to living, not dying with sickle cell. It's so important. She actively engages through toy drives, events, social media outreach to raise awareness. And of course, we're going to share her website, so please support shackshope.com. Ladies, we are all in the same room. I cannot believe it.
And we have persons who are trying to get in. Sorry, Rachel, we have persons who are trying to get in. So
one of you share a bit about your journey so far. And Lisa,
okay, so I was going to start. Yes. Okay, wonderful. So reconnecting, here we go. So it's wonderful to be here. So thank you for having me. And it's such a joy to meet, the other women of power, women of influence. I think, that's what, when Rachel reached out, that's what I thought of. And so Lisa Maria, I'm actually CEO and Chief Strategist. That's my title. But who I am is, I would say, a woman of influence, a Caribbean woman. My journey has been, I the family been born into. I am the fifth of six children. So when I hear 12 and 13, I thought six was a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm the fifth of six. And my training, or my life has really been about a couple of things. One of the first things in my life has always been about is team. When you grow into a large family, you're about team. You go off to school, your friends, relationships. So I've a big part of me and who I am is about the team I'm on. So you would have read in my bio. Clearly, I'm very passionate about women and leadership. So that's one of my teams. I have a cohort of girlfriends. So that's part of a team. I'm also part of, my relationship with God. It puts me in a special group, a team also. So that's one of these facets. The other facet is leadership. And for people who have known me from ever since they've known me, it's always been about just kind of influence and setting the example for persons, not because I'm better than, but just because I always felt as if I was walking in my purpose. God gave me a purpose long before I knew what it was. Those people who knew me say, Lisa, you were always purposeful. So I would say purposeful, purpose. And now where I am in life, I've come out of corporate after many years as a senior executive. And I run a business called the Leadership Experience, which really it's a wonderful mix of my passion and my purpose. So my purpose of influence and my passion in developing others, not just women a lot, but not just women and men, to be their best selves. So that's me in a nutshell. A big nutshell.
Listen, yes, you live in your purpose. You walk in it. I can tell everything you do, and when you're on stage, it's effortless. So I know you're walking in your purpose. What about you, Andrea?
Oh,
there you go.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. I just feel like I know you guys already, and it feels like we're in the living room, right? So I love it. So my story pretty much is that I came from Jamaica and I lived in New York in my younger years and moved when my children were small. I was thinking about 89. I moved to South Florida. We've been here a long time. The challenge is that I'm the only child for my mother, and my mother became sick. She had meningitis when I was about 20 years old, so I became a caregiver for my mother. There was no one else but me, and then on top of that, I ended up having a child with sickle cell anemia. My son has the trait. My daughter had the disease. So I found that I became codependent, and the needs of others were always more important than mine because it had to be because I was caring for people. I didn't have a choice, you know? And so a lot of therapy for all of us, really, just to be able to cope. Um, I worked in travel most of my life, which is I'm very passionate about. I love people and just you know traveling. I worked for a Caribbean company, so I sold a lot of the Caribbean. I know it inside out, and I found that just it's like experiences around the world. Sometimes just talking to people on the phone, it was wonderful. Moving forward a bit, when my daughter became Miss Jamaica, she decided to move to Jamaica and enter the pageant and register herself as a Jamaican citizen and everything. And I'm thinking, oh boy, living with sickle cell and having this journey. I said, okay, I'm for living in the moment. Let's do that. And sadly, she did win, and she did start Shack Soap Foundation in January of 2016, but lost her battle. the same year. She was 30. So I basically, it became then my purpose to carry on her legacy.
Yeah.
And I met my husband, Paul, I would say 4 months before her passing. And I am convinced she left me a bodyguard the way the two of us work it together. So I lost my job at American Express in 2021 during COVID, and I was devastated at first. And then I realized that the powers that be, that boy, God has a plan for you, even if you don't even realize
Yes.
yourself. And that my purpose is, this is it. This is it,
Yes.
to do this work. So sometimes I have a hard time concentrating on the other things I'm supposed to do, but it's always okay when it comes to charity work. It's a
Yeah.
lot, but it makes me smile at the end of the day because you realize what you were meant to do. So
Yes.
I came
Yes.
so
And
far.
I enjoy watching you, just
Eh,
live in your purpose. I enjoy it because I supported Andrea a lot. And so I just enjoyed watching her do her thing. And this is what you were meant to do.
yeah,
I'm convinced.
yeah, I
And
think so.
Sandra, what about you?
Greetings, everyone. I am ecstatic to be alive, and I pray to God you are as well. Well, I am ecstatic to be here, and my name is Dr. Sandra E. Jackson. I am a renowned humanitarian. I received my degree in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Dr. Martin Luther King Auditorium in 2024. I am
Yes.
also a #1 Amazon bestseller multiple times. And I'm ecstatic about life in general. I graduated from Nazarene Bible College in Kansas. And I was married for 1 month shy of 21 years. I birthed 9 children into that union and went through a major, major, major divorce, which has taught me a lot of lessons, which brings me to my passion. And my company is Journey into Purpose, LLC, because I help other people journey into their purpose in a smooth fashion. I went to college and
Yes.
became a life coach because I didn't want people to be stuck and feel like they had to remain stuck. I want people to know it can be done. If she did
Yes, it
it,
can be.
I can
So
do
can
it
you.
too. And so I'm
Yes.
just ecstatic about it. I can tell you much, 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 much more, but I don't want to bore you.
Yeah.
I listen, we're in the room of phenomenal women. I want you guys to share one unique something about you that nobody else knows. Something really unique about you. Lisa.
I don't know how unique it is, and I'm pretty sure people know, but I love love, and I have always loved love. Now, as a single woman, mature in life's journey, that sounds a bit strange, and people have questions, but I've always loved love. And I remember back to my high school days, and I literally would run a class called Dr. Love, on a myriad of things, because I always had an insight. So I tell people that I'm a wonderful theorist. And you know, I haven't had as much practical in the theory because I've never been married. But I
But that's
love love.
okay.
It's not going to change. It's not going to change, and I am 100% sure. When you believe again in purpose, passion, and when you believe in God's hand in your life,
Right.
I am
Yeah.
so clear that what He has in store for me, the best is yet to come.
Oh, yes. Claim it. Yes, ma'am. What about you, Andrea? What's unique about you? Something that nobody really knows.
Oh God, I can't. What's unique about me or fun that most people don't know? Oh Lord. Just that I'm a carnival fanatic.
Of?
No, honestly, I can't think because I'm such an open book. Um, oh God, I don't know. Love
Nothing at
life. I
all?
live in the
You can
moment.
think about it, all right?
Yeah.
You want
I
me to
What
go?
love.
about you,
Yeah.
Sandra?
All right. So, what you don't know about me is I do not know how to swim.
Me either.
All right.
Oh.
So,
Well, there you go. There you go.
I don't know
So
how to
that's not
swim,
unique.
and my teachers in high school wanted to teach me, and I said no, no, no. Well, when I reached the age of 57, I went to Cancun, Mexico, and I had a blast. I traveled all alone. I stayed in a immaculate resort, and I made an arbitrary decision that I was going to at least learn how to float, and I was going to get in the water. What you don't know
Fantastic.
is that I grew up in a large family. I'm number 12 of 15, and my brother drowned in our pool, which
That's
put a lot of
yes.
fear
Goodness.
in my heart of
Uh,
water. And so I didn't want to go near water. But you have to grow and expand and do
yes.
new things. And so when I
Absolutely.
reached the age of 57, I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to conquer this fear. And so when I
Wonderful.
went to
Amen.
Cancun, the Lord aligned everything. I met a swimming guard, and I told him my story, and he said, "Meet me tomorrow at 8:30, and I'm going to teach you."
Uh,
So I got in
Look at
the
God.
I didn't even go to the pool. I went in, I got in the ocean. It was unbelievable, and it was a cathartic experience, and it's a
Yes.
memory now that I will never forget. And I can teach people how to conquer their fears.
That's amazing.
awesome.
I
Awesome.
love
Awesome.
that. So I have
You
to say
conquered that fear. Wow.
now that she said that, so
Mm-hmm.
I can help myself, right? But I'm still fearful of floating, and I have a
Mhm.
pool. That's the best joke, right? but but yes, I am fearful, but I can't help myself. Somebody threw me in the pool on the deep end
Mm-hmm.
one day, and I did not panic. I pulled myself to the edge and pull
Mhm.
myself back out. So I can help myself, but I still fear getting in and just even floating. So I love what you said about fear about, and I can't ride a
And
bike
facing
either.
that fear.
I can't ride a bike. I just,
So you're figuring things out as we
yeah,
speak.
and I'm not
Okay.
interested in learning either.
That's a great thing about life, right? At the end of the day, I said that
Yeah.
Right.
self-discovery is a journey, it's not a destination. So
Yep.
what you
Yeah.
found out today, you're going to find new stuff out tomorrow.
Correct.
Oh, of
So we don't have
course.
to limit ourselves to finding it
We don't
out
have to live in a
today.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give your younger self about living fully and wholeheartedly?
I'm going to grab that one right away because it was a conversation I had with myself many times about um, be present. So,
Yes.
in my world, I do a lot of psychometric testing, and I'm sure you're familiar with that kind of ideology. And, my personality style is a strategist, right? That's my title. It's a futurist. So I'm always kind of looking to the next thing. I'm looking to
Yeah.
I'm always on the big picture. I'm there. But what I would tell myself now is that it's okay to be future minded, but you have to stay present.
Yeah.
Because if you're so focused on the future and what's going to happen, and pulling all the strings to make sure all the things happen, and that's all well and good, because it has
Anxiety.
resulted it has resulted in a number of successes, because hey, I'm seeing it before it arrives, so I am bang bang bang, but don't miss the moment.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Miss the moment. So that's what
Yeah.
I would say to my younger self. In fact, it's funny because I have a niece, and she's like in her 20s, just early 20s, and I tell her all the time, let's have the fun, think about it, all is going to happen, but don't miss the moment.
All
Yeah.
right. I would say to my younger self, inhale, and exhale. Life is less challenging than you thought it was. I would say don't
I
fear
like
the
that.
unknown. I would say live in the moment. And I would say live life to the full without any regrets.
Mhm.
I would say what other people think of you is none of your business.
Love it. Yes,
That's a good
ma'am.
one. That's a good
I
one. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
yes, I love it.
So caught
I
up in
think,
that.
yes, I think when I was younger, I was so concerned
Yeah,
about
the
how
people might
people
say,
perceive me. And I realized that if I live in the here and now and ignore the outside noise, then that place is my peace. I know that when I think a lot, I get anxious. So I try to stay in the moment. I plan,
yeah.
but I try to stay in the moment, because if I think too much in the past, I leave that there, and I think too much in the future, I get anxious. So I have learned, I definitely have to stay present always to keep
Always.
myself very calm. It takes me a minute, but I reel myself back in. So,
Good.
whew, what
That's an
does
important.
living wholeheartedly mean to you?
It means knowing that you're worthy, that you belong, and that you are loved. It means
Yes.
regardless of any successes or failures, you are who you are without a doubt. And that it means you have to captivate courage, compassion, empathy, connection, and you must embrace vulnerability. And that's all right. It means letting go of the need to be perfect because no one is perfect.
Yeah.
It means nurturing your mindset, um, feeling the fulfillment of joy, living authentically, and building meaningful relationships and connections.
I love that.
Perfect answer.
Yeah,
I,
I love
for
that.
some
It's
reason,
I
I
love.
just completely teared up. It was just
Oh,
beautiful. It's like you were speaking to me, honestly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a life
When I
coach.
think
You can come to
Hmm.
me and I'll help
for
you elevate.
sure,
I'll put my
when I,
calendar link in the comment section.
absolutely. When I think about wholeheartedly, I think about self-awareness. And like I said before, I'll say it again, self-discovery is a journey, not a destination. And when I think about
Yeah.
living wholeheartedly, I think about, you know, and it pretty much summarizes a lot of what you said, but just knowing who you are, because in my
Yeah.
life experience and my corporate experience, a lot of times people don't know who they are. Simple things. When you ask people what they like, they start telling you what they don't like. When you ask them what they want, they give you a list. Well, I don't want this and I don't want that. That's not the question. The question
Yeah.
is, who are you?
Who are
What do
you?
you
Yeah.
like? What do you want? And so for me, living wholeheartedly is, I literally am always self-examining in my head. You have
Yeah.
an experience, you're like, okay, Lisa, what did you take from that? What did you enjoy? Oh, you're having a great day. I do that a lot. Are you having fun? That's what actually, it's a funny story, but that's what got me out of carnival, simply because I realized I was no longer having fun. My
Yeah.
taste,
Yeah.
appetite for it was gone. So it's not
Yeah.
that I have no, I don't have a quarrel with it. Your choices are your choices. But for me, I realized, oh, this is not, this is no longer bringing me fun. So I got out of it. So wholeheartedly is about knowing yourself.
Yes. And it's funny that you said that, right? Because Carnival is coming up, and everybody's going, and da da da. And I think I'm in a point of my life where I will do Miami Carnival because it's a different setting, but Trinidad, I think I've outgrown it. And so everybody's like, "Are you going?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going." And they can't believe it, but I'm not there anymore. I am okay with not going and looking at the mountains in the back of my house. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm there now, you know. So when you said, you know, it doesn't serve me anymore, and I'm okay with it, and I'm fine with that decision.
Yeah.
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 For me, I really, especially since my daughter, I just don't take anything for granted.
Mhm.
And it could be
Yeah.
something as simple as going outside and walking and just looking at my orchids, or just going to the beach, which I do when I want to clear my head and just sit on the sand and reflect. But I
Yeah.
take nothing for granted. I live every moment with intention, in the
Yeah.
fullest, and I make sure that I do something every day to fill my soul, whatever small thing, whatever
I
small
love
thing
that.
it is. Yeah.
How do you handle changes? Who wants to grab that one? How do you
Ooh.
handle change?
Mhm.
You know, I will say that again, it goes back to the core of who I am, because I'm so very clear that there is a bigger, higher purpose slash orchestrator of my life. I'm like, okay, Lord, show me. All right. I'm literally having a conversation.
Hmm.
I'm like, all right. I say, I see you. All right. So what we doing? What's happening here? You know, and
Yes.
so that for me, I don't genuinely have anxiety around changes. You know, that's just been my nature. But I believe even before I knew what it was there. But now I know.
Yes.
I know the source. I didn't always know the source, but now
Yeah.
I'm so clear about it. And for me, I genuinely, you know, when I see things flipping the switch, like I'll give a quick one about when when I moved from corporate life to my own business, and people wanted to know if I'd lost my good and natural mind, because hello, you know, you had the big, and I'll use my Jamaican. I lived in Jamaica, Andrea. So, you know, my big Sawati work. I had my big, you know, the whole nine. And people are like, okay, what are you thinking? And for me, there was zero anxiety. Not that I wasn't, you know, sure. I wasn't sure where the money was coming from. I wasn't sure about the business. If you'd asked me 6 months before, what are you going to do? I didn't really have that plan. But
Yeah. God had a plan for you.
once I made the decision, it was more about moving in purpose. I was the path was being opened for me, and I could walk in
Yeah.
it. So it really, that confidence comes from, for me, that confidence comes from knowing that my God is able, and He's got me proper square. You know, I call Him, I'm His good spoiled child. So he's
I
taking
love
care of me every day. Like me, you know, He real like me.
Uh, Sandra?
All right, first you have to recognize the change, right? You have to acknowledge the change. You can't deny or resist the change. Um, you have to feel the change and be all right with it. So,
Yeah.
if I were honest with myself, it depends on what type of change it is. Now, if I'm moving from one state to another, I tend to be fine with that change. But if it's about finances, you know, or the stability of my family, the older I get, the more concerned I find myself. And I don't
Yeah.
tend to tap into the knowledge in which I was born with, um, the source of the Bible. I find myself trying to figure it out, you know. And I don't know if anybody will be authentic tonight, but if you are honest, you have some apprehension sometimes. And that's where
Yeah.
the older I get, that's where I find myself. And I don't like
Yeah.
it. All right. I don't like it, but I recognize it's there. And then I
Yeah.
work to change it. And it's a mental mindset that you have to work on to change that frequency that you know better. I know better. I know not to worry. I know not to fret because I know I have a higher power and that everything is already mapped out
Mm-hmm.
for me. I already know that. But
Yeah.
then when you take a look and see, what's in front of you, what you're working with, then I find myself in that place, and I'm working hard to dismantle that trick of the enemy.
Yeah. Mindset. Yeah. What about you, Andrea?
In waves. In waves. For instance, when I lost my job after 15 years, I felt like someone died.
Yeah.
It was hard, and
You're
I was
going
trying,
through grief.
yeah. But
Yeah.
then I realized, because I try to always look at the cup half full. So I
Mm-hmm.
realized that, okay, there's always something to learn, there's always a lesson. Things just don't happen by chance. You just have to, open your mind. And I thought I could never do both. There's no way. I would have to only use PTO time. I could never do both.
Yeah.
So even though it may seem like it was hard, it forced me
Mm-hmm.
to make choices to grow,
Mm-hmm.
in another direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess as Sandra said, it depends. Some things make you anxious, some things you can be open, but you just have to work it in waves and be
Yeah.
positive. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I do believe it's important too. I think the point about awareness is key because, um, and again, it goes back for me to faith is the reason for the change. So if it's something that you understand, maybe it's easier. But if it's something that you don't understand, I mean, I long gave up trying to figure things out in my own strength just because I'm wired like that, because I know I cannot. I mean, I will try, and that's a recipe for me for a headache. But at the same, it's totally like I'm like, do you know how many times I close my computer or close my book or turn off my lights and say, God, listen, you go figure it out. I'm going to take a nap because I cannot. I have done that. That's
Migraine is coming.
That's right. I'm like, Father God, you please figure it out because I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I cannot get it. And so because that's kind of a default for me, and usually when you get up, maybe the problem is still there, but your approach to it and your awareness for it is what is different.
Can I share this with you, Rachel?
Yes.
I'm going to be authentic. All right. I went in my prayer closet the other day, literally in my closet. And I was in there pondering a bit and talking to the Lord the way I do. And I was just being very authentic with him, telling him, X, Y, and Z. And then I brought up my servitude. I've done this, Lord. I've done that. I've done the other. You already know my record, but I'm going to remind you, right? I need you to come to my rescue, like ASAP. I need you like right now because I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm talking to God like this. I come out of my prayer closet. I sit at my computer and I pray. And I said, Lord, what are we doing today? All of a sudden, I get a call. I get a call from Ohio. And she just lit in praying for me. And she literally prayed everything I said to God in the closet. She's praying and she begins to cry. When I tell you God is on the throne, that he knows all about it and he's concerned with he's concerned with our wants. He's concerned with our well-being. He literally had her to call me. She had no clue whatsoever. But she literally prayed the way I would have prayed for someone else. You see what I'm saying? That made me feel so good. I mean, like, Lord, you heard me.
That's like, right. And there is no time.
Did.
He didn't take long.
That was confirmation.
Come on. Right. I came out of my closet, sat in my seat, and he had somebody to call me. He was already working on that for me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I had to realize. He said, oh, baby girl, don't worry about your life. I got you. But how many times do we still worry? How many times are we really? I mean, he cares about us.
Yeah.
So that I
what
really
a testimony. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then to boot,
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, to boot, he had someone to reach out to. So what I did was I donated. I did a campaign, right? I'm trying to get the book. Well, it's called. Let me see. I'm sorry. So what I did was I had a sponsorship for people to donate 100 of these books to the prison, right? So I worked hard on that project. And then you know how it is when you work hard on a project and it's over, you just take a reprieve and you're like, all right, I'm going to settle and, you know, see if I can recoup all the strength and everything that I just poured out, right? He had someone to bless me after you see what I'm saying? So that's what he does. He allows us to pour out as women. We give 100% of ourselves. And then he does what? He sends someone along to pour back into us. So
yes, Lord. Preach. Thank you for that. Because I know, you guys know I've moved to Texas. I'm here, alone, no family. And I'm creating a community as I go along. And it's not easy, but I have so much faith in him that things just fall into my lap. When I kind of worry, and he says, I got you. So I have learned to take change and just sit with it sometime, pray about it, and leave it in his hands.
Very good.
Yeah. Andrea, I know you still have to leave. Yes, I know. Andrea, thank you so much for being
let's do this
here.
again. You're welcome.
Of course. Thank you. And good luck with everything. Andrea has to run, but I will definitely send you the edited video. Okay?
And let's do this again.
Good luck to you. Okay?
Bye.
Yes. Bye. All the best to you.
Thank you.
So, Sandra, just to come back to what you said, and again, this is going in a much different direction than we thought, but it's timely. We're in 2025, and I can tell you that there is no time ever that I have said, God help me, and he has not helped. There is no time. He has a track record. He has a track record. And I think, even as we talk about aging and life, living wholeheartedly, for me, faith is such a core component of it that I cannot separate it.
It's mandatory.
Rachel. I was teasing Rachel
mandatory thing
about this age thing. I said, I'm like, girl, I'm not over 50. Let's start there. I don't claim it. I said, but the fun part about it is that, in my walk and in my journey, it almost doesn't matter how old you are, except you need some physical years to get there. But when you get that part of life, then you get a lot of all the other things, kind of comes, because then how you talk about relationships, what changes, difficulties. Your whole outlook is very, very different because you are clear about your source,
about that faith. Yes. You couldn't say it better. You could not say it better. I think that if you get to that, and it doesn't even matter, like you said, what age, but if you get to at a certain point in life and you don't have a source and you don't believe in anything, then what's the point?
That's good.
Everything else needs to fall in place, but you have to have that source. You must have that
center.
source.
Yes. And when she was talking, Rachel, she was talking, I thought about the scripture in Psalms 37:25. It says, I have been young and now I am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor seen their bread. All right. So that's our testimony, because we have that experience behind our backs.
And that came
through. And so being a mother of 9 children, going through a divorce, wondering how I'm going to feed all 9 of these children, because when I got divorced, believe it or not, I didn't have a job. I was a housewife. And so how does one navigate life to where I am today? It takes that creator. It takes that center. It takes that the master of the universe aligning things for you in order for you to stand and say,
there's no other way.
But now I'm old and I've never seen the righteous forsaken. So I can say that as well. You know,
Yeah.
it may get hard and they come to the 11th hour, but he's showing up. You better know that.
Always does. And you know, Rachel, when we go back to even our childhood, so I didn't even say at any point that I was Trini, but in case you missed it, I'm a Trini. And when I go back to where I started and to where I am, I would say, but God, right? I would say absolutely, but God. Now, this is, you know, my success is my success. I don't shy away from it. I acknowledge it. But it didn't happen because I was bright and pretty, because they have a lot of bright and pretty out there
that are not successful.
Correct.
And Sandra, we were neighbors growing up. I don't know if you. Yes, we were.
Literally, we used to talk to each other through the fence.
Through the fence.
That's awesome.
So absolutely. So I would say that, you know, again, as we talk about, you know, evolution and being, you know,
and
it is, it's about
becoming.
It's not even about where you started. It's about where you, you know, the journey, because we're not there yet. I'm still refining. Thank you. I'm still, you know, every day trying to polish up my diamond.
Yeah. And that leads me to the next question, right? What helps you stay true to yourself when others have expectations?
I would say knowing and being familiar with yourself.
That's right.
Identifying your values, your key points, knowing what really matters in life, and letting the real thing be the real thing, you know, the main thing be the main thing. Recognize your passions.
Yeah.
Understanding your boundaries.
Setting those boundaries.
Yes. Communicating your limitations. Learning to say no. That's a big one. Prioritizing your self-care, which is what we must do. And if you don't, you're going to be forced to do. Develop a strong belief system. Focus on your own growth and surround yourself with supportive people, and close out all of the noise.
All the noise, yes.
You know, when I thought about that, for me, it's put on your oxygen first. Put on your oxygen first. That self-awareness, that's purpose, that's passion, that's all those things that you've said, shared, Sandra. But it's about putting on your oxygen quite often, and we see it among women where, you know, and Andrea spoke about it, where they, you know, it's either the people pleasing or, you know, I call it the Martha syndrome, you know. But Father God, why is she sitting down there and I washing, cooking, cleaning, and sweating up in the air?
Overextending.
That's right. You see, I had to say to you know, someone close and dear to me, I do not suffer from the Martha syndrome. So I'm so very clear about what is important. And the sweating, slaving, cleaning for somebody else's standard, excuse you, that is not me. Not me, not me.
I set firm boundaries, very firm boundaries. You know, just to preserve my peace, I set really strict boundaries. And so the people that are dear to me understand that I am in this place in my life, people close to me. Okay, she needs her day alone. She needs her day to recoup and regenerate. She needs about a week, and they understand that and they respect that. So setting boundaries for me is I'm good with the boundaries game.
Yes.
It's all part of the oxygen. All part of the putting on your mask first.
First, because then I am no good to anyone if I am, you know,
that's correct,
hitting rock bottom. I can't help anyone.
A lot of people don't get that. They don't get you know, they consider it a level of selfishness. but it's not selfishness. It's actually self-preservation. And you can't
It
pour
is.
from an empty cup.
Cannot.
Say it again. You cannot pour from
an empty cup.
And that's
Yes.
my philosophy. You know, I had to learn that the hard way because
Well,
I was putting everybody before me. And then you get to a point of burnt out.
Yes.
And then you realize you have no one for yourself.
And you have nothing to give.
And you have nothing else to give. And I begin to think about, where did this behavior stem from?
Yeah.
It stems from our forefathers, our mothers, who always put the family first.
And then there's resentment.
And so I had to take a good look and take self-inventory. And then I started putting myself first. Yeah. I started waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning if the children had to be up at 7. I would meditate. I would pray. I would read my Bible and get myself grounded and focused.
First.
I can do all of the things that I had to do. Yeah. And that's what I recommend anybody. Put yourself first and then everybody else. And then you will be able to love each other and have a better family unit or relationship.
Yeah. And you know, in the practical, even at this stage in life, that looks like exercise for me. My mental health depends on it. I also had to pull back on a few things that was expected because I'm like, no, this is my time. This is my exercise time. Yeah. Therefore, I'm not gonna just drop everything and be available. That doesn't work for me. And so it's you know, there is the physiological and then there's this physical, you know, that we have to take care of our bodies as well and our mental health, in order to be good for others.
What is one message that you want people to remember from your story? What do you think you can share? One message that you want people to take away.
Mine is, it can be done.
I love that.
I love it too. Mine is, find your purpose and your passion. It exists in all of us. Find it. You didn't come here without a purpose and a passion. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Listen. Ooh, my pores, you know, when they say your pores raising.
Yes.
Just, you know, it's just some strong advice. Mine is, let them.
Let
them. Because I know I can't control the behavior of others.
Come on.
I know that, you know, you allow people to do what they want, you know, they will do what they rather do. So for me, it works, especially in my work environment. Mm-hmm. I see strange behavior and I say, let them. Because I know my God has a plan for me. I have 33 days left to retire, and let them.
Oh my God. That's
a couple, girl. What? Almost less than a year.
Less than a year.
Let them.
And I cannot
do whatever they want to do.
Wow.
Go ahead on. Do your thing.
Do your thing.
Yes.
Oh, that is awesome. That's funny.
That's really good. May I say something?
Sure.
Last night, I went to the store. I was looking, my sister, my niece, and I were going on this lemon cleanse. And so I'm getting all of my products from the store last night, right? And I put everything on the counter at the service desk. And I'm waiting for the lady. She's doing all kind of stuff, going out, coming back in, doing everything. And I'm patiently waiting on her, right? And so she comes up there again, and she looks at the Caucasians and say, I can help you now. Yes, Rachel. So I said, excuse me, I was here. She says, yes, I'm waiting on you. I've been waiting on you, but you're on the phone. She said, do you want cigarettes? Do you want alcohol? do you want anything behind here? I said, no, I just want the products that's on the counter. With the upset voice, with an attitude, she says to me, you go over there and there is a self-serve over there, in a horrible tone, Rachel. And I just came off of a fast. We went on the Daniel fast. We went on a 2-day fast before this. So I was cool, calm, and collected. And she gave an evil smile to boot. And she pointed her finger over there. And she just thought she had me told. And guess what I did? I smiled at her. And I collected my items. And I walked over there and did the self-serve. And I let her marinate in her evil.
Yes.
Let them.
Yes.
I
love it.
Let them. You know why? Because she felt all of that. Yeah. And if I had said a word, she would have put her evil on me, because I would have tried to retaliate. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Let them.
But you wanted to fuel.
Yes.
Fuel your anger.
And I wasn't having it, because I'm like, that's not my issue. She got some issues to deal with. She's not going to put her issues on me. I'm going to walk out of this store.
I love it.
Sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That's a whole conversation for a whole other night, but I cannot imagine what is happening up in where yours are. Wow.
Listen, that would take about 3 hours, but
Yeah, no. Yes, different conversation. Conversation.
But ladies, this was it was a needed conversation. We had some technical difficulties that we're going to figure out, but I really want to thank you guys for the outpouring that, y'all responded and just agreeing to do this with me. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Andrea had to run, but, I really do appreciate that we were able to be in the room together and share our experiences. We're living in an age where I think more of this is necessary. Strong women have to at least share what we've gone through, our challenges, our joys, and especially for the younger folks. So hopefully this would inspire someone to live wholeheartedly and, just live life in the present. Any parting thoughts?
I'll say, for one, thank you for having me on. Of course, I appreciated it. And, what stood out to me or stands out to me is we're not different. We really are not that different. Sometimes you look at different backgrounds and different cultural appropriation and even different age, and you think, but we're really not that different. And what is central to all of it, as you said, is living life wholeheartedly, and there's a recipe for that. And I'm sure, and I'm really happy that we got an opportunity to chat about it.
Thank you, Lisa.
My point would be, I just want to, that last question that you asked, Rachel, I think is very profound. And that's about how are you aging? Like something to that effect. What advice would you give your younger self? Or what would you give to a woman that's worried about aging? And, I'll be 60 years old in 2 months. And so
you look great, I must say.
Yeah. Thank you. But, it's scary. It's scary because you're leaving you're leaving the life that you once knew, the life that you saw when you looked in the mirror. All of that stuff is changing, and you're going to become something brand new. And what I want to say to everybody is what I'm saying to myself: embrace it. Embrace the new you. Love the new you. Get to know the new you. Invest in the new you. Beautify the new you. and become the best new you can become.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Sandra. I mean, a lot of what we talked about, my pores raised, and I know I had, my heart full, because everything that was said in love and authenticity. So I thank you again. And let's do this again. Let's do this again.
Let's do it.
I would love it.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
so
night,
much.
Guys. Thank you so much. And I'll be in touch, okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye. Nice to meet you, Sandra.
Dr. Riley.
Dr. Riley. Nice to meet you. Bye. Thanks, Ray.
Bye-bye.